Hi students, topic 3 has the very famous section on deadlocks and resolution of bills that can't pass through Parliament. Obviously the House of Representatives can pass bills because they have a majority of government members. Sometimes they're crossbenchers, but having a majority, they'll more than often vote yes on bills that are public from government or ministers. It's often the case the Senate is made up of a minority group who again across the crossbenchers, or the opposition party has a majority where they vote no. I suppose when we think of relationships, friendships and families, there's often conflict. And the way in which it's best to probably understand this concept is that a disagreement is where we can work out a compromise. So this could be within our friendship group, that we have a disagreement, we work out a compromise, and we're able to move forward and restore the relationship and restore the bill. This compromise is also made in regards to bills where concessions are made which the government is happy with to allow the bill to be pushed through. Again, the example of this was the JobKeeper bill recently, where the Parliament and the government of the day guaranteed workers a set sum each week during the COVID-19. But the opposition in the Senate wanted casual workers and people that hadn't been employed for 12 months included. A compromise was made that the government was able to push the bill through, and for sadly many people on casual wages and not working for 12 months were not included. Those amendments, or conceding, allows for a smoother transition, so the Senate will vote yes. Those changes have to be negotiated, and sometimes this can take many hours or days or months or years for bills to be pushed through. If there's a deadlock though, it is where the left and right wings of Parliament or two opposing parties simply say the compromise is not possible. The government can abandon the bill, give up on it and wait until they have a majority in both houses, which is a rubber stamp, and pass the bill. In section 57 of the Constitution, there is a double dissolution mechanism, and this is called to pull the trigger. The famous one was in 1975, which was the Whitlam government, where he used his reserve powers and the Governor-General dismissed the government of the day and the Senate and called for a general election. This was over a bill being blocked regarding supply. There's a famous mini-series on the ABC about this, and it's on ClickView. It runs for many, many episodes, but it really goes into depth about who Whitlam was, who Malcolm Fraser was, how this dispute took place, and how in the end the Fraser government overturned the Whitlam government, who would not concede on a bill. As we know, the Senate was set up as the state's House of Review, and over time it's became a house dominated by political parties. Section 57 was to protect the states, so they always got to vote in regards to resolving any deadlock or disagreement over a bill. But it clearly says that the Governor-General, like in soccer, can use a red card, pull out the red card and dissolve both houses of Parliament. This is only if a bill is rejected by the House of Representatives after a 3-month period. The double dissolution means that the seats of both houses are declared vacant and a general election is held. If the opposition win the bill or the vote, the bill is abandoned. If the government win both houses after the election, they pass it easily. That's called a rubber stamp. But this is the complex issue. Sometimes the government reform as the party in power, and the Senate again has a minority group, or the opposition form a majority in the Senate, and they have to have a joint sitting. This is where all members, the 151 from the House of Reps, the 76 from the Senate, come together in the lower house, the House of Reps, and they do this where they again vote, debate, and try and push the bill through. This can be really important if the government has a high majority in the House of Reps and a low majority in the Senate. the bill would be able to be passed on the combination of both numbers. There have not been many double dissolution elections, and there was only ever one joint sitting. Double dissolutions can only be used for ordinary bills, and it is not only okay to do for a supply bill. It doesn't talk about in the Constitution that the Senate will in fact block supply. The only availability for a Governor-General when the country comes to a standstill is to use their reserve powers in Section 64, dismiss the government and the Prime Minister, and they did this with the Whitlam government in 1975. He didn't win a re-election. His government was defeated by the Malcolm Fraser government. Some say this was a political strategy of the Fraser government because he knew he had the numbers. Just a diagram here that shows you the process of a bill going from the House of Representatives. It goes to the Senate. It returns after 3 months. The Senate block it again. The Prime Minister advises the Governor-General he does not have confidence in the House or a majority, and a double dissolution is called for. The bill is abandoned, it is passed, or a joint sitting is held, and the Governor-General therefore has used their reserve powers to allow the country to keep functioning. So I hope you enjoyed the section on double dissolution. Not an easy topic to understand. There's plenty of literature and films about this topic. So now, time for the black ball. How many students have handed in their Indigenous assignment for a draft? 2. The next question is, how many students have let me know what they've chosen for their major assignment? 1 only. So students, please be reminded, you have a range of topics from this sheet that's on sector that you can choose from, along with the PowerPoint that I've given you. Please pick a topic that you wish to research for your major, write down how and what you're thinking of writing about, and maybe your major question, and I can help you with that. All the best.